One of the greatest young quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen is Russell Wilson. He led the Seahawks to the Super Bowl and had the most games with a rating of above 120 in his first 3 seasons. Well, that was the case until Brock Purdy just put up a rating of 129.3 against the Seahawks, tying Wilson's record just 6 games into his 3rd year. Purdy's 3-year stretch isn't just playing good, he's playing at a historically unprecedented level, especially for Mr. Irrelevant. So today we'll dive into how he's setting these records and how he's taking his game to a new level this year. The one thing that routinely stands out about Purdy is how it looks like he has ice running through his veins on every play, and while we'll highlight his pinpoint accuracy later, it's truly impressive how his mental processing is really his superpower. On this 3rd and 5 for instance, it looks relatively simple, but it's not. On this play, the Seahawks are running Tampa 2 zone, but they're making it look like prior to the snap, they're running man coverage by having this defender carry with Ayuk. This matters because San Francisco is running an out-fade combo pattern with Ayuk coming back on the post. If the defense stayed in man, Purdy would assume Ayuk or Kittle would most likely beat their man and get a massive gain on this play, but post-snap upon recognizing Tampa 2, he moves off his first read in Ayuk and finds Jennings for 7. So while it's become obvious, Brock Purdy possesses elite processing, where he's improved the most this year in my opinion is his ability to extend plays with his feet. When the initial play design isn't open at the top of his drop, he's able to slide in the pocket to create a few more seconds to operate. Here for instance, most quarterbacks would either throw this thing away or with this much pressure, just take the sack. But Purdy is consistently showing he can make positive plays out of nothing. Here for instance, with the defender barreling down on him, he doesn't freak out, but takes a subtle sidestep back into the pocket and knowing he's going to get hit, delivers a perfectly placed pass. And even when the defense does a great job in coverage, Purdy shows that he also needs to be accounted for, routinely burning teams with his legs this year. On this scramble from Purdy for instance, initially it does appear the Seahawks finally eliminated all his receivers, and they did, but Purdy still picks up the first on 2nd down. These are the type of plays that are just demoralizing for your defense. While running is a great asset for a quarterback, usually young quarterbacks with this ability overuse it, especially when pressure is barreling down on them. But the thing about Brock Purdy, he's not like most young quarterbacks, and he has an unbelievable sense of only moving when necessary, and he routinely dominates the 3D chess match being played every down. On this play for instance, the Seahawks are running cover 2 with a man following Debo. The 49ers meanwhile should have Kittle coming open on this corner route against this coverage, especially if Purdy can drive this safety towards Debo or Conley on the inside. So with Purdy understanding Kittle's route against this coverage, he stares essentially at the middle of the field, highlighting Debo or Conley. This causes this defensive back's hips to turn, and then as soon as he sees that, you can tell Purdy is releasing this ball, putting it on Kittle with perfect accuracy. Purdy's mental acuity also leads him to being comfortable making anticipatory throws. Prior to the snap for instance, Purdy is able to immediately cue in on the defense running zone coverage, as no man follows use check across the motion. Then post-snap, Purdy is also confirming this zone coverage, and he knows he has Brandon Ayuk that will beat this coverage on this in-breaking route. But what really stands out is how you can clearly see Purdy throwing this prior to Ayuk even coming out of his break. And on this play, you can clearly see if Purdy waited longer than he did, this backer might have got a drop that's a little bit deeper and probably pick off this pass. So while this anticipation is often missed on film, I think it's one of his most important factors of his game. Another underappreciated aspect of Purdy's game though in my opinion is his pinpoint accuracy. On this touchdown throw to George Kittle for instance, you put this ball literally anywhere else, it's going to fall incomplete. Maybe the most impressive part about Brock Purdy though is this is just what he's doing to start his career. And there's more to come. His records speak to themselves, and Purdy has shown the ability to stand in the pocket and dice up defenses. And this year, he's also taking his game to a new level with his legs. So while San Francisco sits 3-3 with an elite level quarterback like Brock Purdy, the sky's the limit, and it appears they figured things out recently. But ultimately, these are just some of my thoughts about Brock Purdy's most recent performance against the Seahawks, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you could like and subscribe, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.